Warning: sensitive content.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programas offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Τα προγράμματά μας προσφέρονται σε πολλές γλώσσες. Παρακαλούμε δείτε suprememastertv.com/schedule.
There's a deep connection between what we eat and peace in the world. If we eat peacefully, we will act more peacefully, and we will create a world more peacefully.
Please continue watching to find out more.
Vegan. Tested negative for violence.
Greetings, radiant viewers. Please know that you are appreciated and loved, and all the good that you do benefits many. I am Hosea. The peaceful people of the Navajo Nation applaud your efforts to safeguard our loving animal people by simply being vegan. May you and your beloved be forever protected by the blessings of the divine. Welcome to Veganism, Return to the Garden of Eden, interview with Rabbi Akiva Gersh, vegan, part 2 of 2.
I believe that there's an urgent need for change in the Jewish community and in the world. I really see veganism as one of the most important issues of our time, because what we eat and how we eat and the food choices that we make are impacting almost every single level, realm, sector of life, of the planet, of reality. And that's why I focus on it so much, because I feel like if we could really put our heart and our soul into what we're eating, that heart awareness and that soul attention into what we're eating and make those proper changes, we could literally change the world. And we could also avert major disaster in this world. There's an ancient teaching in Judaism that says, if not me, then who? And if not now, then when? So it's us and it's now.
These are the inspirational words of Rabbi Akiva Gersh, vegan, a passionate educator, writer, and compassionate leader, originally from New York, USA. At the age of 19, God awakened him to the suffering of the animal people and the destruction to the environment caused by the animal people industry, leading him to change to the vegan diet. His life's journey later took him to Israel, the birthplace of Judaism, where he currently resides. This awakening of his eyes, mind, and heart led to his work as a devoted Jewish educator on the connection between Judaism, the environment, animal welfare, and veganism, which has touched the hearts of thousands of students worldwide. Over the past 20 years, the dedicated rabbi has gathered a wealth of Jewish holy teachings which support the plant-based diet and animal welfare to show people that Judaism has supported compassion for all beings since ancient times. Caring viewers, in today's episode we start with Rabbi Akiva Gersh providing us with more Judaic holy teachings supporting abstinence from animal people flesh eating.
Rashi lived 1,000 years ago in France. His commentary on the Torah and the Talmud is like the main commentary. And in a few different places, he writes that we don't need meat to live. When the Israelites complained to God for meat in the desert when they had the manna, that was a horrible sin. And they didn't need to ask for meat because they had the miraculous manna, which came from heaven to them every single day. And he says very clearly, a person doesn't need meat to live. And in the Torah itself, right, the Israelites were punished for asking for meat. God got very upset at them for asking for meat.
In addition, the Jewish Hasidic teachings, which emphasize we are what we eat, provide an explanation on why our world is currently so violent and its linked to eating animal people flesh.
Jewish teachings talk about this, specifically Hasidic teachings, and mystical teachings that literally we are what we eat, that the food breaks down and forms our blood, and our blood flows through our body and feeds everything in our body, both on a physical, biological level, but like we kind of hinted at before, on a spiritual level as well. If somebody's eating the flesh of an animal that was treated horrendously its entire life, and then at the very end of its life was literally scared for its life, and all of these chemicals were racing through its body, like adrenaline and other things, and then they get trapped in the flesh, and then humans eat that flesh. Isn't it very clear why we humans are so violent sometimes? If we're treating these animals and raising them so violently and then killing them in such violent ways, and they feel that violence and they feel that pain literally, and they're sending out all those chemicals moments before death, and then they stay there in the flesh, it's no wonder that our world is the way that it is.
Rabbi Gersh now expounds on Judaism's coming Messiah or Savior to uplift the world, and how it includes a vegan paradise prediction.
Rabbi Cook, he talks about in the future the return to a vegan world, and when he talks about the future, it's really linked to the coming of the Messiah, and the Messianic age from a Jewish perspective is really hyper God consciousness all around the world. And we see this talked about in the prophets, and we see this talked about in many Jewish teachings, that everybody will know of God, and knowledge of God will spread throughout the world like the waters cover the earth. And so if we're talking about such hyper God consciousness, can we see raising animals still the way that we do? Can we see even killing an animal for a few moments of feeding myself? Rabbi Cook, who was just a master Torah scholar and mystic, he did so much of the work for us in writing these thoughts out. He talks about how in the future that our awareness will really expand and open up to the point where we will realize that we're partners with the animals in serving God. And there'll be almost like a bond, like a real kind of brotherly bond, between us and the animal kingdom. And if that's what the future is going to be like, murdering animals doesn't seem to quite fit into that messianic model.
In addition to the coming of the Messiah, the kind rabbi explains how we also must prepare ourselves by going vegan for this time.
There's a mistaken idea that we're sitting around waiting for Messiah. Right? We're not waiting for the Messiah. We're working towards the Messiah. We're readying the world for the Messiah. We're building a world which can receive and is on the level to receive the Messiah. So we are meant to do already the work now that will bring the Messianic age closer and quicker. So it's really like reaching into the future and trying to bring that world here and now and today. So really, I do believe what we're seeing with the vegan movement in Israel and around the world growing and growing, I really feel like that's a sign of global change and elevation in human consciousness and compassion. And these are all signs that the Messiah is coming quicker and quicker.
Israel is among the leading vegan nations in the world, with one of the highest percentages of vegans per capita. Rabbi Gersh now shares his opinion on the main reasons behind this benevolent phenomenon.
So I think that the main reason, and it kind of splits into two, is the ancient Jewish value of tikkun olam, which means fixing the world. If you look at Jewish teachings from the past thousands of years, the one major teaching that really shows up throughout and really kind of strings and weaves everything together is this idea that we're here to fix the world, that the world is beautiful, the world is godly. God created an incredible world, but there's a lot of brokenness and there's a lot of problems in the world. And we are alive in order to take part in the process of fixing the world. And that's a very, very major and important Jewish value. And I think the reason why so many Israelis are becoming vegan is because of this, that they see that we're destroying the world. Instead of fixing the world, we're breaking the world more through our eating. They're saying, enough, I'm not going to participate in this anymore. I'm going to do my part. On top of that, and together with that, one of the greatest fields happening today in Israel is food tech. There are many companies that are doing unbelievable things in terms of making meat out of non-animal sources. That taste, that texture, without the harsh impact on animals and the environment. And this is really a huge game changer. So there's basically the spiritual side, the traditional side, which is the tikkun olam, the fixing of the world. And then there's the high-tech side, which is making it easier and easier for people to stop eating food that comes from animals and eat these other new products that are being invented.
Loving viewers, let us wrap up our show with a beautiful message from Rabbi Akiva Gersh about a world peace diet.
There's a deep connection between what we eat and peace in the world. If we eat peacefully, we will act more peacefully and we will create a world more peacefully. The reason there's so much, war and violence, obviously, is because we humans create it. And everything really starts with our food. Everything starts with what we eat. That's why this specific topic is so important for everything about us as humans, everything about human society, and everything about the planet, with everything that's included in and living on the planet. I remember hearing, the moral and spiritual gauge of a nation is how it treats animals. And I think that's true for all nations of the world. So it's no surprise, unfortunately, that we have so much war and violence today and so much war and violence in our history. I deeply, deeply believe in Judaism, the main vision is peace. Every important prayer of Judaism ends with a prayer or blessing or a mention of peace all the time. And I strongly believe that if people move to a more vegan diet, there is something that's changed in our biology and our spiritual makeup. And if more and more people, especially world leaders, could change what they eat, then they would change who they are and how they act, and that would change everything. I am Rabbi Akiva Gersh, and you're watching Supreme Master Television. Be vegan, make peace.
We sincerely thank Rabbi Akiva Gersh, vegan, for sharing his wisdom about the connection between compassionate living and the Judaic faith. May people of all religions unite to create an elevated vegan planet filled with love, peace, and harmony for all beings. For more information, please visit akivagersh.com.
Mental alertness and intellectual vigor are especially promoted by vegetarian habits. Thus, if we wish to have a clear mind and a sound body, we cannot do better than practice vegetarianism. The Honorable Unu, vegetarian.
Compassionate viewers, we hope you have enjoyed our show today on vegan and religion. Coming up next is Christmas carols, inspiring holiday songs with ancient roots, right after noteworthy news. May God guide us through this challenging time to a soon-to-be vegan paradise.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/VR.